Hi, my name is Tamra Baxter from Prism Advanced Learning. I'm here in Maui with Jack Canfield. Hi, how are you doing today?
I'm fine. How are you?
Excellent. So everybody knows Jack from Chicken Soup for the Soul, and I just wanted to ask you a few questions on goals.
Sure.
And first of all, what got you started in the business that you're doing right now?
I started out as a high school teacher, and my desire was to actually contribute to the civil rights movement in America, so I was teaching in an all-black school. What occurred was I noticed that my students weren't all that motivated to learn, so I became more curious about how do you motivate students than I was about teaching history. And I was fortunate in that first year to discover the W. Clement and Jesse B. Stone Foundation. W. Clement Stone was a good friend of Napoleon Hill's, who wrote Think and Grow Rich. And so I went there and took this course called Achievement Motivation. How do you motivate people to achieve more? And I was so good at what I was doing with them because I started using it in my class and going back and taking more courses there. They eventually hired me away from the schools to do this work, to go around the schools and train teachers. And so that was the beginning.
Excellent. So why do you think it's important for everyone to have goals around the world?
Well, I always say if you don't have goals, you end up working for people who do. And if you don't have a goal, you're basically just floating through life. Now, you can get to a point in your spiritual development, which most people aren't, where you can just surrender to the guidance that comes through from God, Source, Universal Intelligence. But that's really the fourth level of spiritual growth. Most people are running around as victims, and they're victimized because they don't have any direction, they're not taking responsibility for their life.
Exactly.
And then you can move up to the place where you become what we call, you manipulate the world through the law of, knowing the universal laws, law of attraction, law of abundance, law of reciprocity, things like that. And then you move to becoming a channel, and then eventually you can actually identify with being all that. But goals are critical, I think, to give you direction, they give you momentum, they give you self-esteem when you achieve them. I think if your goals are aligned with your purpose, you ultimately end up having fulfillment in life. And most people, I think, they're worker bees, they go to work, they do their job, they're not really passionate about what they do, they haven't set goals. Research shows only 3% of people in North America have set goals.
Yes.
And I was talking to a group in Canada of mortgage brokers, and I asked how many in the audience have set goals. There's like 300 people who hear people like me talk all the time at their conventions. About 30 people went up, so 10%, and this is a group that should know better. So, and the other thing that's valuable about goals was research done at the University of Pennsylvania that showed that people that set goals achieve about 100%, 2 times as more as people who don't set goals.
Absolutely.
So, Mark and I talk about what we call the 3% club, the people who do set goals. And I think if you're a member of that, you're going to have a lot more success, a lot better health, a lot more motivation, more fun, meet better people, etc. So,
absolutely.
I think goals are critical.
I know all my goals have come true since I was 13, so I know they definitely have worked for me, and that's why I'm starting Youth Leadership Academy and bringing that to the world. Mm-hmm. So what advice would you give someone taking the Ready, Set, Goals workshop to be able to, they get stuck, and it's just like they can't get to that next level. What advice would you give them to keep going and never give up?
Well, I think 2 things are true. Whenever you're stuck, one of several things is happening. Either you've set a goal that you don't really care about, it's a should goal instead of a want goal. Another thing that happens is you're not doing the things you need to do, which are take action, meditate, visualize the goal is already complete, ask for what you want, be willing to risk rejection. There's many, many things that people don't do that are critical. The other thing that could happen is you may have limiting beliefs about what's possible, what you should or shouldn't do, etc. And so I think it's important to notice what those might be and release them. And then the key thing, and I think you're alluding to this, is perseverance. For me, Chicken Soup for the Soul, which everyone knows now, we sold 500 million books in 47 languages. Yeah, it's 500 million books. Not too many people have done that. And it's not about bragging. I tell people that not to impress them about me, but to impress upon them the value of having a goal and going for it.
Absolutely.
And perseverance. So we were rejected by 144 publishers over the course of a year and a half. And if I'd given up after 100, I wouldn't be here talking to you today, or the people who are watching this. So when you have a dream that you really care about, that matters to you, don't give up. You never know. It could be the next step. I'll tell you a quick story. I was up hiking in the White Mountains in New Hampshire and Vermont. I forget which of those 2 states I was in, but we were hiking up there, and we met a forest ranger that was up there, lived in a cabin, and he told us a story about one year they found a guy when the spring thaw came. He was about 2.5 feet, he was frozen in front of this cabin, and he was about 2.5 feet. If he'd taken 2 more steps, he would have touched the cabin.
Wow.
He was lost in a blizzard. And at some point he gave up. Now I don't,
Yes.
you don't know why he did. He probably was really cold and gave up. But if 2 more steps, they always say that it's darkest before the dawn. That kind of thing. So 144 rejections, and we just said we're not going to give up. We will self-publish this book if we have to. And fortunately, we didn't have to because I didn't want to be a publisher. I wanted to be an author and a speaker.
Absolutely.
But that book has touched, probably 1 billion or more people on the planet. The series that came out of it. So never give up on your goals. These are important things.
Absolutely. And what legacy would you like to give back and to the world?
Well, I have a number of things I'd like to do. I think I've accomplished my legacy for the number of books I wanted to write. We've done over 225 books, and it's really made a difference in the world. The second thing I want to do is transform education. I want to transform education so that we can have kids learning this stuff in school and not have to go and pay $300 or $5,000 for a weekend workshop somewhere to learn it. And the third thing my legacy is about is wanting to have about 500 trainers trained in this around the world so they can run these workshops. And I've developed a system that works, and I want other people to know that. And I've written about it, but I want to also train people because people learn more from experiencing than they do from reading. So those would be the 3 major things that I want to leave. Excellent.
Well, I'll just tell you, I've just been here for 4 days with Jack and Mark Victor Hansen, and my life has been transformed. And already my goals have come true, but I know there's many more goals going to come true, and I just want to thank Mark for being able to do that. And for anyone else wanting to go through that with Jack and Mark, then you can definitely achieve anything you want in your life. So I would definitely come to any retreat that Jack is offering around the world, or if Mark is going to be offering any around the world, definitely go, because it'll definitely change your life like it has mine. May I give you a hug?
You may indeed. Thank you so much.
Thank you.